Hi, and welcome to Weeb Paradise, your double daily dose of anime movie recap. On today's recap, we are going to talk about the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, a 2010 Japanese animated drama film produced by Kyoto Animation. With a length of 162 minutes, the film was the second longest animated film at the time of its release. Be careful, this video contains spoilers, so if you are not ready, get ready. The movie begins with Kyan's alarm clock beeping. He opens his eyes and silences his alarm. It is December 16th, and the weather is freezing. Kyan feels colder than others. He doesn't like to walk on that hill on his way to school. At school, he is thinking about the lively Haruhi. He goes to the SOS brigade room. He finds Haruhi is not there. This is when Haruhi Suzumiya enters the room with a big bang. In the next scene, Haruhi, Kyan, Koizumi, Nagato, and Asahina are sitting in the SOS brigade room, and Haruhi asks them their plans for Christmas Eve. They all don't have any plans, so Haruhi tells them about a party she is arranging. The party will be named SOS Brigade Party. She shows them the stuff she had bought for the party. On December 17th, Taniguchi tells Kyan that he is dating a girl from Kuyuhen Academy and has plans for Christmas Eve. The day passes by decorating the club room. On December 18th, on his way to school, Kyan saw Taniguchi. Taniguchi has got a cold. Kyan asks him about his date. Taniguchi denies having told him about any date. When he goes to school, Kyan sees that many students are sick with a cold. Even Haruhi is not present in class. At lunchtime, Kyan sits with Kunakita and asks him about the cold. Kunakita tells him that it has gotten worse since last week. Just then, Ryoko Asakura enters the class. She has been in the nurse's office all this time. She comes to the seat behind Kyan, where Haruhi used to sit. Kyan asks her who she is. She tells him that she has been sitting behind him since the start. Kunakita tells Kyan that there was never a girl named Haruhi Suzumiya in their class. Kyan checks the class register and finds out there is no Haruhi. He rushes out of the class to find Koizumi, but he sees that the whole class 9 has gone missing. All the situation is hard to understand for him. The whole day Kyan keeps thinking about what is happening. After school is over, he goes to the club room. This is his last defense. After that, the game will be over. He opens the door and sees Nagato. He is a little bit relieved. He asks Nagato if she is a human android created by aliens. Nagato says that she knows him, but they haven't talked, and she is not an alien. Kyan's mind goes blank. All of a sudden, he looks at the computer in that room. He asks Nagato if he can use it. She clears some data and then allows him. He checks the computer for some old folders he had kept in it. There is no trace of Haruhi or Koizumi. He comes to understand one thing: Haruhi has disappeared. Nagato gives him an invitation to join the literature club. On his way home, he thinks that he is quite lucky that he has experienced such incidents before. Otherwise, this time he would be going to be a counselor. He goes home and sees his sister playing with a cat. He tries to talk to his cat Shamisen, but it doesn't reply to him. He concludes that in this world, cats don't speak. On December 19th, he goes to school and sees that the cold has become an epidemic, and the majority of the students are absent. Kyan realized that he was no longer an unfortunate boy to whom bizarre incidents occurred. It was Haruhi who dragged him into those bizarre incidents. He never wanted the world to change. In this current world, there are no androids, nor time travelers, and cats can't speak. Kyan goes to the literature club room. He observes that Nagato in this world is a very shy girl. He tries to talk to her, and then he sees a book past Nagato, which she was probably reading. He opens it and finds a bookmark in it. Nagato left it. It says, "Program run. Complete keys. Deadline. 2 days." Kyan looks for keys in that bookshelf but doesn't find anything. In the next scene, both of them walk home. Nagato invites him to her apartment. She lives alone. When he goes to her apartment, he gets a sense of familiarity as he had come to that place many times. Nagato makes tea for him and thanks him for the help he gave her in May. She tells her that she visited the public library for the first time in May. She didn't know how to make a library card. Kyan came and did it for her. She regretted not thanking him at that time. Her version of this story is different from what is in Kyan's memory. Just then, Asakura comes with food for Nagato. She is a very close friend of Nagato and cares for her. The three of them ate the food and then Kaien left. The next day, at school, Kaien meets Taniguchi. Kunakita tells Taniguchi about the mess Kaien created a couple of days ago. Taniguchi says that Haruhi was his class fellow in middle school. Kaien desperately asks him about her whereabouts. Kaien comes to know that she is now a student at Kuyuhen Academy. Kaien leaves the school and runs to Kuyuhen Academy. He waits outside the building. A lot of thoughts are going through his mind. He then sees Haruhi along with Koizumi. His whole world goes still. He is not able to move, and then he musters up his courage and goes to her. He calls her name. This pisses her off. Haruhi hits him and walks away. Kaien keeps shouting at her. He tells her about the Tanabata festival from 3 years ago, when she drew something on the school ground with chalk. He tells her that he is the high school student John Smith who helped her. This shocks Haruhi, and the three of them end up in a cafe. Kaien tells Haruhi and Koizumi the whole story, and Haruhi starts believing it. She says it sounds interesting. Koizumi proposes 2 conditions: whether Kaien has entered a parallel world or the world has changed, while he is unaffected. He will have to find the person behind this change in both cases, as it is the quickest way to solve all of this mess. After this, Haruhi forces Kaien to see the club room. Kaien camouflages them as North High students so they can enter the place, and takes them to the club room. Haruhi grabs Asahina too. When they all assemble in the club room, the computer turns on. On the screen, a message appears. It is by Nagato. The message says if Kaien wants to go back to his world, he must press enter. He won't be given such a chance again, and there is no guarantee that he will reach his world safe and sound. Kaien looks at Nagato, then at Haruhi, and he presses enter. All of a sudden, his surroundings start to change. He hears a few voices, and in the next scene, when he opens his eyes, he is still in the club room, but it's darker than when he left, and he is alone in there. He gets out of school and goes to a convenience shop. He sees the date in a newspaper. It is July 7th, 3 years ago. He runs to the school ground. He returned to the Tanabata festival 3 years ago. There he meets an older version of Asahina. She tells him that someone has done an aberration in time. They both go to Nagato to understand the phenomenon and ask for her help. Nagato tells him that this aberration has been done by harnessing Haruhi Suzumiya's ability to change the world's data. As a result, the future Haruhi didn't have any special powers. Nagato tells them that the restoration is possible only if they both travel to December 18th and inject the restoration program in the person responsible for this. Nagato makes counteractive measures for Kaien and Asahina so that they would not be affected by the change. After this, Kaien and Asahina travel to December 18th. They are at the place where the time plane changer will come. And then comes Nagato. Nagato is the one who changes time. After she does it, Kaien goes to her. While standing there, Kaien evaluates things. He realizes what made Nagato do it. She was tired of being emotionless. Nagato from July 3 years ago said that her mind was saving a lot of data, and this triggered a weird behavior in her. But Kaien comes to know this was not due to a data storage problem. In fact, it happened because she too wanted to have emotions. What Nagato calls abnormal behavior is the impact of emotions. Kaien asks himself which world he wants, the one with paranormal activities or the normal one. He decides that he wants to go to the world where Haruhi had powers. He is about to shoot the needle at Nagato when Asakura comes and attacks him with a knife. Kaien goes unconscious. He wakes on December 21st in a private hospital room. Koizumi is in the room. He explains the whole story to Kaien. Kaien fell from the stairs and hurt his back. They think a phantom girl pushed him. Koizumi tells him that Haruhi hasn't left him alone since then. Haruhi is sleeping in the same room. Kaien wakes her up and apologizes to her for making her worry. In the final scene, Kaien opens his eyes on Christmas Eve. He decides to clean up all the mess, but before that, he has to go to Haruhi's party, and this brings our movie to an end. 2 anime recaps per day. 1 early in the morning to wake you up, and 1 mid-afternoon to take a break after your work. That's my motto for this channel, so I am counting on you to subscribe and press the bell icon. And if you want me to recap a specific movie, let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to satisfy you. Have a great week, and see you next time, nerds.